It's the end of an era. One of Hollywood's most iconic and seemingly unbreakable love stories has come to a quiet, painful conclusion. Hugh Jackman, beloved star of The Greatest Showman and the face of Wolverine, and Deborra-Lee Furness, his steadfast partner of nearly 3 decades, are officially done. The news has left fans shocked, confused, and asking the same question. What happened to Hugh and Deborra-Lee? The fairy tale that fooled us all. It's the kind of love story that Hollywood dreams are made of. A young, ambitious actor lands a role early in his career and finds himself working alongside an established, respected actress. On set, their connection is instant. What begins as professional admiration quickly evolves into something deeper. They fall in love, defy the odds, and just a year later, they're married. Over the next 27 years, Hugh Jackman and Deborra-Lee Furness became one of Hollywood's most admired couples, raising 2 adopted children, balancing fame and family, and appearing to thrive in an industry notorious for fleeting relationships. Through red carpets, award shows, and countless interviews, they always appeared united, grounded, and devoted to one another. Their bond was seen as the exception to the rule, a true partnership in a world of constant change. But now, that carefully protected image has begun to unravel. After months of speculation, distant appearances, and subtle signs that something had shifted behind the scenes, the couple has confirmed what many fans feared. Their marriage has come to an end. This isn't a quiet break or a temporary pause. It's a legal, public, and deeply emotional separation. And while celebrity splits are nothing new, what's different this time is that Deborra-Lee has chosen to speak out. In a rare and powerful statement, she's offered a glimpse into the pain behind the headlines, leaving fans stunned and emotionally invested in a story that once seemed untouchable. The fairy tale, as it turns out, wasn't as perfect as it looked from the outside. A private separation goes public.
Deborra-Lee Furness has taken a swipe at her ex-husband Hugh Jackman after confirming she's filing for divorce.
According to multiple credible reports, Deborra-Lee Furness has officially filed for divorce in New York, marking the final chapter of a separation that many believe began quietly, well before the public ever suspected. While the legal filing appears to be straightforward, described as uncontested with no major disputes, it's what lies beneath the legal language that has captivated fans around the world. This wasn't just the formal end to a marriage, it was the public reveal of a deeply personal unraveling that had been playing out far from the spotlight. In a heartfelt and carefully chosen statement shared with a handful of trusted media sources, Deborra-Lee used a single, emotionally charged word to describe her experience: betrayal. She went on to say, "Betrayal is a profound wound that cuts deep, offering a rare glimpse into the emotional weight behind the decision." That one line has opened the floodgates to widespread speculation, and not just from tabloids. Longtime supporters of the couple have taken to social media to express shock, sadness, and confusion. How could a relationship that once seemed so authentic take such a devastating turn? For years, Hugh and Deborra-Lee represented something rare in the entertainment industry: stability. They were often praised for avoiding the glitz and gossip that followed many of their peers. Their partnership appeared grounded in mutual respect, private values, and unwavering loyalty. They weren't seen out chasing attention. They didn't build their careers on scandal or spectacle. Instead, they built a home, adopted and raised 2 children, and supported one another through the unpredictable roller coaster of international fame. Hugh himself frequently spoke about how Deborra-Lee kept him centered through the whirlwind of movie premieres, global tours, and intense public scrutiny. In interviews, he never missed a chance to remind the world that she was the foundation of everything he had built. So now, hearing Deborra-Lee speak in such raw, emotional terms has left many asking, what went wrong? And perhaps more importantly, how long has the truth been hidden behind smiles, public appearances, and carefully crafted statements? The end of this marriage isn't just a breakup, it's the collapse of a narrative that fans truly believed in. The signs we missed.
Deborra-Lee Furness, Hugh Jackman's estranged wife, well, she has broken her silence.
Looking back now, it's clear that the cracks in Hugh Jackman and Deborra-Lee Furness's marriage didn't appear overnight. In fact, Some of the earliest hints began surfacing as far back as 2023, though they were subtle enough to fly under the radar at the time. The couple released a carefully worded joint statement about growing apart and entering a new chapter with respect and love. On the surface, it felt amicable, even mature, but those paying close attention sensed that something deeper was at play. Longtime fans, interview watchers, and media insiders began noticing a distinct shift in their public dynamic. Hugh, once frequently seen with Deborra-Lee at premieres and high-profile industry events, started appearing more frequently on his own. Whether it was red carpets, charity functions, or casual paparazzi sightings, her absence became more and more noticeable. At the same time, Hugh's career focus shifted toward the stage, with an intense commitment to Broadway, most notably his starring role in the revival of The Music Man. As rehearsals and performances consumed his schedule, he was increasingly photographed around New York City, while Deborra-Lee seemed to withdraw from the public eye. When the couple did make appearances together, fans noted a stark difference in their energy. What once felt warm and effortless began to look reserved and, at times, uncomfortable. Their interactions seemed scripted. The closeness they once radiated now replaced with polite formality. It wasn't dramatic or confrontational, it was quiet, almost like they were keeping up a familiar routine out of habit rather than heartfelt connection. One element that drew particular attention was Hugh's visible bond with co-star Sutton Foster. The two had undeniable on-stage chemistry, delivering critically praised performances night after night. Offstage, they shared glowing reviews of each other in interviews, often expressing deep admiration and artistic synergy. While there has never been any confirmed wrongdoing or statements suggesting more than friendship, the closeness and frequency of their praise for one another didn't go unnoticed by fans, especially in contrast to Hugh's growing silence around his wife. Adding more fuel to the conversation were quiet, but telling financial moves. Hugh began discreetly listing properties, including the couple's luxurious multi-level penthouse in Manhattan's West Village, an address once synonymous with their shared life in New York. At the same time, Deborra-Lee was spotted spending longer stretches of time in Australia, surrounded by family and friends, appearing more connected to her roots than to her life in the US. All of this, in hindsight, paints a picture that feels less like a sudden breakup and more like a slow, painful drifting apart. It's as if the separation had already taken hold well before the headlines caught up. Two lives moving in different directions, emotionally and geographically. And while no single moment confirmed the ending, the signs were quietly unfolding in plain sight. Deborra-Lee's painful goodbye.
Deborra-Lee Furness is breaking her silence when it comes to her ex, Hugh Jackman.
More than anything, what's truly moving people is the quiet dignity with which Deborra-Lee Furness is handling the end of her decades-long relationship. In an industry often filled with loud headlines, impulsive social media posts, and public fallouts, her response has been the opposite. Measured, thoughtful, and filled with emotional weight. She hasn't shared specifics or tried to control the narrative. She hasn't made accusations or pointed fingers. Instead, she chose a single word to describe the conclusion of her marriage: betrayal. And in doing so, she communicated volumes without ever raising her voice. That word, so loaded with emotion, has resonated deeply with audiences around the world, suggests a break in trust, a loss that went beyond shared memories and mutual love. It hints at a story of disappointment that may never be fully explained in the public eye. And yet, Deborra-Lee has chosen grace over drama, reflection over reaction. In a world obsessed with telling all, she has shown restraint, perhaps the strongest kind of honesty.
I do have a mint.
That
Yes.
is gold.
Is that gold?
And thank you.
Throughout her relationship with Hugh Jackman, Deborra-Lee gave everything she had to building a life that supported both their dreams. Before Hugh became a global icon, she was already a successful actress with a respected career in Australia. But when his star began to rise, she quietly stepped back, not because she had to, but because she believed in the life they were creating together. She became a constant behind the scenes, managing the home, raising their children, and serving as an emotional foundation while Hugh traveled the world. She also weathered the spotlight in her own way. Over the years, she faced relentless attention, especially from those who questioned their relationship due to their age difference or made unfair comparisons. But she remained composed. She didn't engage in controversy or chase attention. Instead, She stayed true to herself, fiercely loyal, unwaveringly supportive, and consistently focused on her family. Now, as she steps away from a marriage that shaped the majority of her adult life, she does so not with resentment, but with clarity. There's no bitterness in her words, only truth. Spoken simply and powerfully, her strength doesn't come from retaliation, it comes from acceptance. Fans have called her response heartbreaking, but also deeply admirable. She has reminded people everywhere that real strength isn't loud. Sometimes it's found in the quiet choice to move forward with grace after being deeply wounded. For many, Deborra-Lee's goodbye is more than a personal moment. It's a lesson, a reminder that not all endings have to be explosive to be significant, and not all pain needs to be broadcast in order to be felt. In her silence, and in that one word, she has shown the world what resilience really looks like. What happens now? Hugh Jackman's silence in the wake of this split has been deafening. He continues to share snapshots of his life, smiles in his workouts, behind-the-scenes glimpses from his projects, but not a single word about Deborra-Lee, the woman who stood by his side for 27 years. That silence speaks louder than any statement, tells a story of hearts in transition, of private pain, and of a union unraveling away from the public eye. The sudden decision to part ways, announced last year, sent shockwaves through fans who believed theirs was indestructible. Since then, they've begun dividing assets, including their $24 million New York penthouse, with Deborra-Lee's LLC purchasing her share for about $11.7 million, signaling a clean break in both love and property. Rumors swirl about emotional drift, lifestyle pressures, and even a whispered closeness between Hugh and his Broadway co-star Sutton Foster. Deborra-Lee's heartfelt statement referencing feelings of betrayal, though she didn't name him, added another layer of intrigue and heartbreak. So was it the steady accumulation of small misalignments over time, the unrelenting glare of fame, or something more definitive, someone else stepping into the picture? The real truth may never fully emerge. And yet, as the world watches these two carefully move forward, the fairy tale we once believed in dissolves, replaced by something far more human, a goodbye spoken through silence, statements, and transactions, rather than vows. As the world grapples with the end of a love story that once felt unshakable, fans are left wondering how something so seemingly perfect could unravel behind closed doors. Was it the pressures of fame? A slow drift after years of growing in different directions? Or is there more to the story than anyone knows? One thing is certain. Hugh and Deborra-Lee were never just another Hollywood couple. They were a symbol of lasting love in an industry built on fleeting moments. And now, with their split sending shockwaves through fans and fellow stars alike, whispers of what really happened are only just beginning to surface. Could there be secrets still untold? A reconciliation down the line? Or will this be remembered as the heartbreak that proved even the strongest bonds can break? The world is watching and waiting for what comes next.